What's going on, everybody? My name is Amanda Weeb. You can find me on Instagram at Wild Girls Alberta. And welcome to the premiere of Goes to 11 Women's Fishing Network. This is a segment that will feature female anglers who are passionate about the outdoors and fishing. We'll be talking about all forms of fishing, discussing technique, gear, all that great stuff. So stay tuned. That's enough talk for now. Let's go wet a line. So today we're fishing at Wabamun Lake. That's about 40 minutes west of Edmonton in Alberta. We're sitting in about 7 to 10 feet of water. It's minus 27 out right now, which is a little bit outrageous, but we do have a heater, so it's not so bad. I really like this fishery. It's super well stocked, really healthy, aggressive fish. So, even on a bad day, you're still catching a few. Yeah, so we're gonna do our absolute best to hook into a few today.
Okay, what am I gonna try this time?
Oh, I got two in my hole. There we go.
Okay.
And that.
There you go, folks. Nicely done.
That was on the Fusion Extreme by Lucky Bug. Super cool action. I had two down there going at it at the same time and lucked out and got this guy. Back he goes. Party time. Excellent. Hello again, everyone. The day is done. We're all done fishing. We're packed up and home. So I thought I'd take a couple of minutes to go through all the gear and lures that I used today. Starting with none other than the Lucky Bug Lures Zombie Max. This particular lure is 3 inches. It's considered a jointed swim bait. As you can see, it's a bunch of different segments held together with a fabric webbing. This particular color is the chubby minnow, but it does come in a whole bunch of other colors and patterns, which is really cool. Dependent on what you're targeting, for example, a bait fish out here when I'm targeting pike and walleye would be perch. So there's all kinds of different patterns depending if you're fishing for bass or whatever. Something that I find really cool about this lure, because it's jointed with a fabric webbing, you can dunk it into a scent of some kind, and it holds the scent really well, and it drives the fish absolutely crazy. This particular lure can be used in all types of different fishing. For ice fishing, it's really cool because it will present as kind of a vertical, struggling bait fish. But you can also troll this thing, you can cast this thing. It has a really unique, cool action when it's in the water. It looks exactly like a swimming fish, and I have had endless amounts of luck with this lure. I primarily target pike and walleye, and honestly, they cannot get enough of this lure. It comes in all kinds of different sizes, which is really cool, this particular one being the smallest, but they do also have a 5-inch and I believe a 7 or an 8-inch. Yeah, so, multi-species, depending on the time of the year that you're fishing, the 3-inch works really wonderful under the ice because it's, the fish are a little bit lazier, they're not looking for a big meal, they just, want to eat a quick snack. Whereas when you're fishing in the summer or the spring, they're a little bit more feisty, they're after a bigger meal, so they're interested in the bigger bait. Okay, so up next we're going to look at the Fusion Extreme by Lucky Bug Lures. This particular pattern is the Black Slayer. This lure would be considered a lipped crankbait. It's super versatile. You can use it both in ice fishing as well as open water fishing. You can cast it, you can troll it, you can jig it. your options are endless. It's a really cool lure. I like to use this lure under the ice because when you're jigging this, you just give your rod a gentle lift and it darts around pretty seamlessly. It mimics an injured bait fish really well, and the pike and walleye can't seem to get enough of it. This bait comes in a ton of different patterns and colors, as do all of their lures, which is really great. As I mentioned, yeah, it's quickly become a favorite of mine. I always have it in my tackle box, and I really look forward to open water season to throw this bad boy out on my spin rod as well. Okay, so last but not least, we have the lure that Lucky Bug Lures is probably most known for, which is the bingo bug. This lure is super cool. It can be used in any application for any species, which is pretty rare. You want to use this thing for ice fishing. You can use it in open water, tie it to your fly rod, troll it, cast it, jig it, you name it, it can do it. And all species across the board absolutely love this lure. It comes in a variety of different colors and sizes, depending on the species that you're targeting. I do believe it also comes in glow patterns, which is super cool when you're ice fishing. Obviously, the fish love to see what they're eating. Yeah, it's just really unique, and there are not a lot of companies that are making something similar to this. A quick side note, particularly for ice fishing, this is a particularly light lure. So my suggestion would be to add in a split shot or a small weight, and yeah, even a heavier minnow would probably help you out. It does take a little bit of time for it to get down to the bottom, but once you have it down there, it moves around really cool, and the fish just cannot get enough. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly go over my rods with you guys that I was using today, starting with this one, which is my Quantum setup. This is a 25-inch Quantum solid glass. It's heavy to medium action, which I really like when I'm targeting the bigger fish. It's definitely up to the task, as you can see. On this particular rod, I would guess that you would probably be able to handle a fish anywhere between 6 to 10 pounds, which we would all love to catch, but let's be real, those are mostly for fishing stories. On this rod, I have the Quantum Optics reel, 4-bearing with a 5.2 to 1 gear ratio, which for those of you that don't know means that for every full rotation of the handle, your spool rotates 5.2 times, which is great. It means quick retrieve of your lures when you have one on the end of the line. It's got really great drag on it, so when you're putting up, a good fight, the reel really supports you, which is fantastic. Yeah, this is definitely one of my preferred rods. I really like Quantum stuff. Super high quality for a pretty affordable price. Definitely within everyone's range. On here, I am using I believe, 10-pound Suffix ice braid. I prefer the braid for the bigger fish as well and the bigger fight because it doesn't have a ton of give. So when you got a big one on the end of the line, there's not a ton of stretch in your line, which means that they're a lot less likely to get away on you. On to the next one. Okay, moving into the other combination that I was using yesterday. This is kind of my bigger unit, which is the Ugly Stick Ice Runner. This is a 36-inch rod with a medium weight. It's got a great flex in the tip. You can put up with a big fish, which is wonderful. That's what I tend to use this combination for, is when I'm going after the bigger stuff. On this combo, you have a Shakespeare reel. Same gear ratio as the Quantum, so 5.2 to 1, which is wonderful. Again, really great drag on this reel, which is perfect when you're putting up a fight and getting lots of head shakes, which we all love. Again, running the 10-pound Suffix ice braid. It's kind of my go-to for really anything out here. It's just kind of a good base weight, and you can add, a floral leader on it if you want when you're targeting something a little bit lighter. But yeah, all around, these are my two favorite combos. They're kind of my go-tos for everything. All right, guys, that's going to be a wrap on today's segment. We hope you learned something and had fun watching. If you or any of your female friends that like fishing would be interested in joining the Goes to 11 media team, for the Women's Fishing Network as an on-camera host, shoot us a message. We'd love to have you. And while you're at it, go online and check out the website for fishingandoutdoors.ca. It's a great online store with lots of really cool equipment. And yeah, that's it for me. So tight lines, everybody.